Hello, bookworms and storytellers. Welcome to Reader's Magnet featured author interview. Today, we're going to witness an otherworldly realm as this author brings us to an adventure into supernatural. Help me welcome Chris Kline, author of the book Soul Wars. Hey, Chris. Thanks
Hi.
for being in the show. How
Well,
are you?
I'm fine. Just excited that the book's in print and ready to go.
Right. By the way, congratulations for having your book published last February.
Yeah, well, with COVID, both books that came out just they didn't do anything because
Hmm.
everybody was at home.
Right, right. But, still it's a success story because you're able to publish your book.
Yeah.
Right. Now, let's talk about your book Soul Wars. I'm very invested with the book. You've got a surreal book, published in there, and the story of the book shows the trail of evil and good spirits in our lives. I'm sorry, in the lives of four families, but I'm more marveled with the general curses and blessings involved in the story. Can you tell us more about it, Chris?
Well, what I was trying to show was four families that live near each other in a small
Mm,
town, and how each family has um, paranormal activities going on behind their back that they don't even know about. And these spirits and angels
mm-hmm.
work through these families, getting them together for either good or for bad. And it's amazing how the characters ended up working together with each other in the end. The demon didn't do such a good job that he ended up putting them together.
Right, right. As I read the book, Chris, I've learned that, pretty much it could happen in our real lives. You were able to mention in the book that, there are besetting habits and other behaviors that passes from one generation to another. And I think that's basically true. Can you unpack that for me?
Well, I did a woman in the book in Soul Wars. I did a woman who she was dying, and her daughter was there, and her granddaughter was there, and
Mm-hmm.
a mist, like a black mist, was hanging over the mother, who had been
Mm,
very strong in witchcraft and going to idols and praying for things to happen that she wanted. And so, in the long shot, she died, and then her mother picked up the spirit from there, and then the daughter eventually picked up the spirit from the mother. And I did that in the four families, and had there are really some very obvious scenes of normal activity, but you don't realize that the demons and the angels are setting it all up.
right, right. That's very fascinating and thrilling at the same time. I've learned that this book is from your imagination, but what really made you turn this idea into writing, Chris?
Um, well, I wrote my my autobiography, which is Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was writing that, all these ideas were coming to me for a book that I had started 30 years ago in Australia when I lived there. And
Mm-hmm.
I had two publishers that wanted it, but they wanted me to edit it, and I didn't have the time. I was preaching and every weekend in a different town, and I just didn't have the urge. But now that I'm married and I had the free time and Shake, Rattle,
Mm-hmm.
and Roll came out so easily, we decided to go with this one. And so Soul Wars was sort of birthed out of the other book. And I think it's a great book. I think they did a great cover, and
Mm-hmm.
it stands out, but it talks to you and your problems um, in a way of like thinking, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That could happen to me. And maybe have.
Right. Right. And I guess that's one of the reason as to why your readers needs to purchase this book. It's thrilling, it's very exciting, it's reasonable, and it's very compelling. Now, that being said, Chris, what would you like your readers to feel and learn when they read the book?
I mostly would like them to see that our emotions aren't just our emotions. Sometimes they are fueled by powers of darkness
Mm-hmm.
or angels that they can psych us up for something um, that God doesn't want us to have by just literally their presence in our body, and then they go off and go bother somebody else.
Yeah, this may be a under literature and fiction genre, but what makes it very compelling to have is that, as what I've made mention earlier, everyone can relate to it. Most of people are fighting addiction, depression, and whatnot, not knowing that there's a stronghold behind it, and there's somehow a generational curse or blessing, maybe, or perhaps that's behind on that. Do you agree with me?
Well, yeah, and there's a spirit. I mean, there's a scripture that says that God will visit the sins of the fathers to the children, and
Hmm.
I don't think He punishes the kids for what the father did. I think it's more the lack of having a real father is detrimental to the son.
Well, thanks for sharing that. That's somehow inspiring. And I'd say that that scripture really is one of the foundation as to why you wrote the book. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I really, I just really wanted people to see that we're not alone. We're, you know,
Mhm.
what's going on in our lives is very personal, just like with the scripture, the people in the Bible. God is very personal with them, and He's personal with us.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Chris. Now, what's your purpose for writing the book?
Um, I'd like to see it get in as many hands as possible and have people understand that there isn't a Casper the ghost running around. In fact, there isn't such thing as ghosts. When a person dies, that's judgment and they go wherever they're going to go. But these spirits were bound to earth because of what they did with Lucifer. And all they care about doing is making havoc for God's people, and they do it for non-believers as well because they want to have the non-believers get mad at God for all the bad luck they're having, and I don't believe in luck.
Same to me, same to me. Well, thank you for sharing that. I know your book is an instrument as to how we fully understand your knowledge about your faith and others' knowledge about their faith. And me personally, I'd say it's very true and it's very relatable.
Did you read the
Now,
book?
yes, I read the book. I'm very hooked to the book. Yes, and as what I've made mention earlier, it hooked me up because I can sense that some ordinary events are really from the spirits or the things that's happening in spiritual realm. And it's very relatable and reasonable as to why you made this idea into writing and easily transitioned it to people who needs to know the truth. And thank you
Amen.
for publishing. Thank you for publishing your book, Chris. I admire your book. Now, anything that you'd like to tell your readers out there?
Well, um, I would say take your time reading it. It's a long book. It runs smoothly though, but
Mm-hmm.
don't read it fast. Read and see what the spirits are doing in the house and how people get evil ideas and how people get angelic ideas, good things that they all of a sudden are prompted to do, and that other person was prompting God to have it done. You know, there's amazing stories you can hear of people who prayed for something and then got it.
Right. Well,
You
thank.
know, we were sitting at a dinner table at the club one night, and I said, God, can you let us win the potluck tonight? just because, just to encourage Jim. And they pulled the number, and we won $200.
That was quite an experience. But I'd say
Well,
there's a lot
yeah, for God to
behind
be
it.
able to pick a number out of 100 tickets, yes, I'd say so.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for being on the show. I appreciate it. And for sure, everyone out there will be
Yep.
hooked, will be enticed to buy a copy of the
This
book
one,
you're currently bringing.
here's the rattle and roll, shake, rattle and roll.
Right.
And
Can
then
you tell us an
here's
overview
the
about the shake, rattle, and roll, please?
well, that started when my sister called me and told me I was on HBO dancing on the Stones plane. And
Oh,
so I called their company and said, I'm on your film and I would like to see it, even though they weren't giving them out yet.
oh,
But
okay.
they sent it to me, and I was on the plane dancing. And so I thought, there's a lot of intertwined in my life with Mick Jagger, and I noticed on him there was something different about him when he would hold the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And once I was a missionary and I was over in New Zealand, his band, not the Rolling Stones, but his other band, came over, and I watched him change. His persona changed to almost dreary evil. And yet then someone will say something funny and he laughs. The purpose of the book was to show my walk, how I went through, even when I had things happening that, were really bad for me, but how I kept on going. It's a book for to keep on going and has some little tidbits of the Rolling Stones in there.
Hmm. Nice, nice. Apart from the shake, rattle, and roll, what else do you have on the other side?
Well, I have this book here is what started it all, A Brilliant
Mhm.
Deception. And this is my true testimony. It made
Mhm.
number 1 in Australia and
Yeah.
in New Zealand. It was very popular over there and sold a ton of them. And they even made a movie out of it, and out of
Mm.
the testimony in Sweden. They came to Virginia Beach and had an actress and actors and made a movie. And this is one, God Speaks to the Weary Heart, that I
Wow.
wrote when I was really going through a weary heart.
Right, right. Well,
But
I guess. Well, I guess your readers have a lot to expect from you, Chris. Not just the Soul Wars, but the rest of the book you were able to mention.
yes,
All right. Chris, again, thank you very much for being on the show. I truly appreciate it. And your readers will definitely be going to be excited about this book
yeah,
since we are anticipating it to be displayed on the upcoming American Library Association. Correct?
yes, we'll have some there.
Yes. And you will be also there
Yes, I'm going to sign some books on
Mhm.
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
June the 8th.
No,
Right.
that's good.
There you have it, ladies
No,
and gentlemen. Oh,
I don't know, the 25th, whatever day that is.
okay, don't worry because for sure, readers out there will be intrigued and will be compelled to come to your booth and have their personal copies signed by Chris Klein. So be excited, readers.
Thank
All
you.
right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Klein, author of the book Soul Wars. You can definitely purchase a copy of the book in her Amazon page and her at Barnes and Noble. Plus, to that, you can definitely see more of her books in the very same Amazon page. Thank you very much, Chris. And
Okay,
with
thanks
readers,
for having me.
yes, and with Readers Magnet, we share your stories to the world. Thank you, Chris. Goodbye.
Bye bye.